In this video, we're going to go over how your dealership can put on 300,000 plus in 1 week. And this is all done in-house with your staff. No hiring an outside staffed sales company, nothing at all. You keep all the profits and your salespeople, your managers in the dealership walk away with big fat pockets. My name is Aaron Weiklingett. I owned a staffed event company for over 18 years. I've been in over 200 different dealerships doing staff sales events in that time frame. And I want to help you guys to be able to put on your own event that can bring in massive amounts of money, gross profit, sell you a ton of cars, and also bring in a ton of new customers that have never purchased from you and didn't even plan on purchasing a vehicle. That's kind of the magic of staff sales events. Well, not even staff sales event, but I should just say sales events, because there's a couple different things we're going to focus on here. And number one, what we're going to talk about, to have a successful event, you have to have the right marketing. So we're going to go over these kind of one by one and help you to be able to maybe put on your own event and capitalize on all that amazing profit that you can keep in your pocket. Because typical staff sales event companies charge 15-20% of total gross. Some of them will even front the advertising for you and get you to pay 30-35% of the total gross, which is astronomical because it's things you can do on your own as long as you have a roadmap to do it. So again, we're going to start right here. Number one, marketing. So direct mail is the main driver of a sales event. Typically, if you're going to do a large scale sales event, obviously you could do smaller, whatever you want, depending on the goal, the size of your dealership, and how often you want to do them. If you want to have a smaller sales event, you can do less marketing. You want to have a bigger sales event, you can do more marketing. So we'll go over that. So direct mail, we have a couple different kinds of direct mail that we typically use. You're going to have saturation mail or every door direct mail, which every single house in a zip code would get one of your mailers. Which is great. If they have the names of that customer's name will be on the mailer. It makes them feel personalized. They're getting an invitation to come in and typically win a prize. The saturation mailers are typically going to be a prize-based mailer. These are going out to cold customers typically. It obviously could hit some of your previous customers if you're blanketing zip codes. And in that situation, these customers think they want a prize. And I know a lot of dealers and a lot of people hate those prize getters, they get them, or gift getters they call them, when they're coming in just to get a prize. But that's just opportunity. It's just opportunity for you to be a salesman, show off your amazing facility, your product, put on your couple-minute commercial as a salesperson and win that person over, because I guarantee they drove up to that dealership in a vehicle, or they got a ride from somebody that was driving a vehicle. Sometimes people will ride a bike up or walk to us, but very far and few in between. So there's opportunity. You just have to know how to turn them from a gift getter to a buyer. And again, we'll get into that in a minute, but direct mail, again, saturation. The other one is going to be more of a targeted direct mail, and this could be targeting a certain list. I always recommend sending to your current customer database. Typically, we'll do a little bit different mailer for that customer. This will be a little bit more personalized, like a buyback, laminated, still with a prize, so you get a high show rate. And then again, those people convert a little better because they've purchased from you before, if it was to your current database of customers. You can also use awesome resources like Polk Data, and you can buy current customers that are in the market in your area, and you can mail to them. So, and you can do conquest lists, which is just, people that own certain makes or models of vehicles. But the Polk Data is great. And then also sending to your current customer database, and then the saturation. So those combined make for an amazing sale just alone. And then again, you can throw in some digital. Social media is huge these days. Facebook, Instagram, sales events, they are a great partner with the direct mail to get a ton more leads. And again, we know most customers need 7 to 17 touch points depending on the industry before they respond. So the more we can hit them on digital, hit them on direct mail, even text messaging, emails, anything, all those touch points help to get that customer to come in and check out your brand. So those are the two big ones: saturation mail, targeted mail, and then social media sales events. Those are the three that I've had the most success with. I've done as big as almost $600,000 in gross profit in one sale in a 10-day period of time. So that right there, it's magic. And what you have to realize too is with the saturation mail, these are so many customers that are coming in to get a prize, and they weren't even thinking about buying a vehicle. So they didn't do all the research. They didn't sit there for 6 months researching what they want, what the best deals are, what this is. These customers come in, and if you do a great job, you can get them to buy on emotion and make great profit on them, fair profit on this customer, without having to sit there and feel like this is a customer that's beating you down all the time, which is awesome. It's a great feeling. We get customers all the time. They come in they end up buying a vehicle, and they're like, I wasn't even in the market for a vehicle. So it's a fun experience, fun for them, and it can be a lot of high energy fun for your dealership when it's done the right way. Number 3 is compliance. You got to make sure that you're compliant with whatever your state regulations are. You got to check to make sure you're doing the mailers right, get all that approved. So that's on a case by case, depending on what state you're in, because every state's different. Some states like Louisiana or Indiana, not very fun because they don't let you do a whole lot of aggressive advertising, I guess. Some states are a little bit more lenient with it. So make sure you're getting everything approved and you are 100% compliant so your sale doesn't get shut down. Number 4, we're going to go into staff training. This is probably the most important outside of the marketing. Obviously, you have to have customers showing up. But when it comes to staff training, that most dealerships deal with customers that are in the market for a vehicle. They're coming to look for something. That's how they've been trained on how to serve that customer. Even managers, because we know managers were mostly just salespeople that got promoted and probably weren't trained properly anyway. I know there's a lot of great ones out there, but there's a lot that don't get the training that they need. So moving forward with the staff training, we got to make sure that the process that we have, we would come into a dealership and we would bring anywhere from 1 to 3 managers. One manager would be a closer or 2 closers. You'd have a desk manager that's helping to submit deals, desk deals, coach salespeople. And that's how that process works. Then you have the salesperson as usual, but you have to be able to teach that salesperson how to meet and greet that customer. It's different than a typical meet and greet a little bit. There's some different verbiage when they're coming in for a prize. And then you have to also be able to teach your sales managers or whoever you're going to be closing these customers to be able to tee all these customers. Second face. Give these people, don't worry if they're there just to get a prize. It's fine if they're there to get a prize. You don't need to sell every single customer, and you're not going to sell every single customer. You could go a bunch of them in a row that don't want to buy or can't even buy in some scenarios. It's just the opportunity. Continue to go through them. And if you treat every single customer that comes in, because sometimes you could have 500, 1,000 customers in your dealership in a 5 to 10 day period of time. It's a lot of opportunity, a lot of excitement. But just look at it as an opportunity to introduce that customer to your dealership, to your facility, to your sales staff, to your product, and give them world-class customer service. And if you have an event in the future, or if they are in the market for a vehicle in the future, maybe they aren't right now, they will think about you, and you can get them in the CRM, and you can continue to follow up with them. So there's no waste, even if they're coming there just for a prize. Just don't get caught up in needing to sell and make every customer that comes into the car dealership. And that's the big thing, is making sure you're meet and greeting every customer with excitement. And the word track, we're not going to necessarily get into all the word tracks here with how, because we'll be here for quite a while if we get into the specific training. But teaching your salespeople how to do this, it really isn't hard, you guys. Hey, my name's Aaron. Welcome to ABC Motors. Are you here for our big sales event? Hey, you got a smile on your face. Yeah, great. You saw that typically they have the mailer in their hand. Yeah, we're here to see what we want. Great. That's awesome. Come on over here. Follow me. Let's check to see what you want. And you make it fun. And that's another part we're going to get to in a second. But give it awesome experience to these customers. You don't need to try selling them the minute they step up. Help them with their mailer. Explain the mailer to them. Get them excited about it. And you'll start to see that it's a lot more fun. That's why there's so many staff to sales event companies out there, and they get salespeople to travel over. They make great gross. They make great gross profit because these customers come in not ready to buy a car, and we just spend some time, make some friends with them, ask them a few questions on our registration form, and then next thing you know, we're showing them cars, getting their trade appraised, and they're walking out saying, I would never expected to buy a vehicle. I'm not even in the market, or I wasn't in the market. And everybody's happy and everybody wins. But it's a team effort. The sales managers, the salespeople, the GM, the dealer, everybody has to be on the same page, rowing in the same direction. You've got to get the customers in. You've got to work the process with every single one. You don't just hand out the door prizes and tell them to get out of here if they just want a prize. Spend some time with them. Make a friend, build rapport, give them a service walk, give them even if they're not in the market for a vehicle, come in, hey, give them a prize, you give them a tour of your dealership, your service department, introduce them to a service advisor, your sales manager. Make friends. Gosh, they're going to say, gosh, that was an awesome experience. I went in there, got a free gift card or free this or whatever it may be. It's going to be a way different experience. But again, we got to try to sell every single customer because they're going to all come in and say, oh, no, I just want my prize. No, I just want my prize. So you've got to be able to expect that, know that it's coming, and then be prepared to overcome that in the right way. And again, once you get your salespeople, your sales manager, everybody on the same page, you guys are going to make so much money. Typical dealers are paying out these staffed event sales companies so much money. Think about that. You do a $200,000 sale, you're paying 20% out. You're paying $40,000 check just in commissions, plus salespeople commissions that they brought in, and then you're also paying for advertising on top of that. And you can make so much money by cutting that event company out because typically they're going to upcharge you on the mail, so you're going to pay more for the mail, which you can get much cheaper than if you know the right direct mail companies to go to, which I can help you with. And you can also, on top of that, save on all those commissions. And then you also don't have additional salespeople unless you need to bring more salespeople. And if you're a small store and you can't handle it and you need additional sales, that's fine. But if you don't need to bring them in, then all your sales guys get to keep all those deals, all that gross. And I'm telling you, it's an amazing way to continue to build your customer database because these bring in so many customers that have never been to your store. So I'm telling you, whether you've done an event in the past or you've been thinking about it, it's definitely 100% worth doing as long as everybody knows what they're doing. So that goes over a little bit on the staff training. Additional staff, kind of what I touched on. If you need sales managers, if you need closers, if you need salespeople, whatever it may be, greeters, whatever, you can find them out there. Most of these staff sales companies jump on Facebook groups that are meant for these salespeople to find sales. There's tons of them out there. So you can really get your own crew if you need supplemental staff to have them come in. And if you treat them right, they will do a great job for you. You can find a ton of great managers and salespeople that can come in and help you without hiring a staff sales event company to do it for you. And then that goes to the customer experience again, kind of touching on that. This is extremely important. If you want to do multiple events and not just one and have a bunch of angry customers, make it a great experience. Every person's going to get some sort of door prize. Make it a good door prize. Make it bigger. Put part of your budget, since you're saving so much by not investing in a staff sales company, to giving away bigger prizes, more prizes. And then you can really have customers have a great experience when they come out. And you could do car giveaways. You could do a car giveaway while they're there. We used to do $500 nightly giveaways where customers would come back and we would put on a big show. There'd be 100 customers, 200 customers in a showroom floor at 5 o'clock doing a huge drawing for $500 or a TV, and we made the drawing so interactive and fun and getting the crowd involved, and it's a blast for everybody involved. Again, like I said, make the customer experience amazing. So if you do another sale, when they get that mailer in the mail, they're going to be like, hey, man, we're going to check that out again. That was so much fun. We won $50. We won $25 gift card. We won this. We won that, whatever it is. We won a TV, whatever it may be. Make it an amazing experience. And don't skimp out on the part that's going to be the customer experience, which is the giveaways, and how you treat that customer. Extremely, extremely important. And now we're going to kind of break down that $300,000 mark. So if you, let's say $300,000, if you can do that in a 5-day period, 6-day period of time, shoot, that's over $1 million in a month if you're doing that weekly, right? So 300K, let's just say at 60 cars in a 6-day period of time at $5,000 a round. It's 10 cars a day. Then you can break down the math on the mail to kind of see what it would take for you to get that. So, if your closing rate, let's just say it's 10% for easy round numbers, and we sold 60 cars. So obviously that's what 600 customers we would need through the door, which is obviously a huge number, and you need a lot of staff to be able to handle that. But you don't necessarily need that much, because the closing rates could be higher. It could be 20%, whatever it may be. And your, like I said, the direct mail that goes to your current customer database, they'll close at a higher rate also. So let's just say it's 60 cars closing at 10%. That's 600 customers to hit $300,000. Those are kind of round numbers. You kind of can work the math to get this to figure out. And if you get a 1% return on your mail, so if you send out 60,000 mailers and you get 1% return, there's your 600 customers. There you go. So you just break it down and then be prepared on how to handle that many customers. And that's what it's going to take. So you can work your way into a $300,000 sale. It's going to have the right budget, the right mindset, the right crew, and you can make it happen very realistically. And that's kind of how that breaks down as far as knowing what your goal is. When I ever talk to a dealer, what's your goal? And let's work back into it. What's the marketing going to take to get this many customers if we're closing at this percentage? But I think those are the biggest things I could tell you right now. And this is all things that I'm helping dealers to do, is to start handling these events on their own, because you're very capable. It's just changing your mindset, getting excited about it, not thinking that everybody's a gift getter or blah, 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 or all these negative connotations about these sales events. You can just have a blast, have fun. And obviously you have your regular business that you have to deal with. So depending on the size of your dealership, you gotta, again, staff accordingly. If you're a dealership that's selling 50 cars a month or 100 cars a month, and you're gonna have this additional influx of customers, or if you're a car dealership selling 200 a month already and you do a big sale, there's a lot of moving parts. So that's where the additional staff can help if you already have a dealership doing a lot of sales. But I see a real sweet spot for dealers that are right in that, 75 to 100 cars, 125 cars a month. These sales events work great. And again, like I said, you don't need to do $300,000 in a week. What if you did $150,000 in a week? That's great for a lot of car dealerships, and it's something maybe your staff could handle on their own. So you just dial it back, and then if you do a smaller event, that gives you the ability to another event a little bit quicker, because you have more people that you can mail to that you didn't mail to on the first one. So if you sent out 30,000 mailers versus 60, you could do 30 and do 30 again the next month, or whenever that next sale is you want to do, and hit totally different people. So it's an opportunity for your dealerships to put on massive growth, get brand new customers never been to your dealership, customers that aren't out there researching everywhere. You can definitely use it for an amazing opportunity to sharpen your sales team, their sales ability, their prospecting, their question asking, because if you can get them to treat these customers